All right, welcome to the Jesse James Show. Today I'm going to have my guest. This is Billy, and I want him to just introduce himself, and we're going to be going over the flat earth.
So my name is Billy Jefferson from Los Angeles, California, 10 years Army, paratrooper, truck driver, last, 5-6 years, and art student.
Hell yeah. All right, so we're going to check out this flat earth theory. So go down the rabbit hole with us on this flat earth theory. All right, what's your thoughts on it?
Okay, so the first time I ever thought about it, I came across the idea where then it said density was the only real reality, and you can test that in a lab. You can test density, but you can't test gravity. And I was like, yeah, that is true. And then I heard testing gravity is just dropping a rock. You just falls. And so I kept digging and digging and digging, and the numbers just don't make any sense. You know, logically, it's like jumping out of a speeding bullet and then trying to get back in when you send somebody out to space. And so when you think about like satellites and all these other things, it baffles me, because I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you think of like every government that has a space program, you know, every satellite, landline. You ever been trucking? You ever traveled, you know, the world and things like that?
Yeah.
So you ever lost signal?
Yeah.
So I feel like that wouldn't happen if satellites were real, because it will pinpoint you anywhere and everywhere. But when you drop a signal, it says reconnect cell tower. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
It says it every time.
Well, I mean, because that's all of our phones are based off of ground-based towers.
Right.
Not satellite.
Right. There just isn't, I don't think there really is too many like real satellites. And I think like as far as like the tens of thousands that they're saying, I think you would see more of them just flying across space and falling to the earth regularly if it was real.
I don't know. Coming as a background, like a combo dude background, I don't think it's flat.
You don't think it's flat?
No way, man. Like the satellites, there are a bunch of satellites up there. I've shot at a bunch of satellites from the ground, you know, to get comms to them.
They're not hot air balloons?
No way. Because then they would have to be all over the world constantly with like a hot air balloon. Like, no way. How are they going to keep the air? How are they going to keep the fuel burning in it? Like, how are they going to do that with nobody ever seeing it?
That's a lot of them up there. And some people even have recordings of them falling down with the hot air bag. Like
that was a Chinese one that flew over America.
That's a lot of them. That's a lot of them.
A hot air balloon?
Let's see. Yeah. That's a lot of them.
Maybe I haven't seen this, man. You know what?
Yeah,
All right, let's see. Is it?
They're not like they're not like typical hot air balloons. Like they're made of some kind of aluminum or something, because they have to go up. They have to go up so far up, and then they come down.
Like the weather balloons?
Let me see. You know, and I actually had to ask ChatGPT just to make sure I wasn't crazy. And, you know, you have to like give her scenarios to give her a real reality of what's like going on. So I had to implement like using science experiments and things like that. You know, what do you think the world is? And she said that she thinks it's flat too. Google? No.
That's ChatGPT. I mean, I get it. I know like these are weather balloons that go up. They do all kinds of crazy experiments. All these governments have done some crazy experiments, but I don't see it being flat. I mean, I see it being round. It's been proven in a bunch of different ways. There was that guy that did the light test that was like, oh, you're not going to be able to see this light at a certain amount of distance if the earth was round, and then you didn't see the light. And he was like, oh, all right, well, that proved it, you know? And he was a flat earther. And then, with like the weather balloons and stuff like that. Yeah, man, they 100% do some crazy, weird stuff. I believe that 100% in the government is corrupt, and all of them do some weird stuff. But
here, I'll give you a video.
The satellite thing, I mean, there's thousands of satellites up there spinning around, you know?
One of these will show the Nikon P1000.
Like the camera?
Yeah, the camera. So this camera is so powerful. Like it goes beyond the visual spectrum of the human eye, right? And so the first time somebody ever, used it, they saw further.
All right, go ahead. What were you saying about this camera?
Okay, so the camera it can see past the visual spectrum, right? And so in a curved Earth, like when you look at a whole bunch of videos like it, like
Get close.
you wouldn't be able to see after a certain point, you wouldn't be able to see uh because of the curvature, everything would just drop off. But it's so powerful that it sees past that and it sees that like mathematically everything is flat. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this camera is like a big deal within like flat earth because it defies the mathematics of the curve, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm sure if you had like a more powerful lens, you can keep going, you know? But this already defeats that purpose. This is just like one of my supporting theories because you don't believe in the hard cables and things like that.
All right, let's watch this.
Super. Zoom.
Say that again.
I said that definitely didn't help. That was definitely a bad video.
What is the flat Earth's map?
They say they use that map for pilots and most like bridge engineering. Mm-hmm.
The flat Earth map?
Yeah, for pilots and bridge engineering or whatever else.
I don't know, man. The way I look at flat Earth theory is it's not flat. There's no way. I mean, even that shows that like it fades off. There's nothing back there.
Okay, how about the math? Just if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, right, and we're spinning through the universe at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, right? We send satellites in space. We've sent, whatever to the moon. it should be impossible to come back. It should be humanly impossible to come back
To where?
from the moon, from outer space.
We didn't go to the moon.
Oh, so you don't believe we went to the moon, but you
No.
believe satellites is in space.
Yeah, I really don't. I believe that we didn't go to the moon at all because one thing, there's a radiation belt that we can't somehow get out of 60 years later. And then on top of that, anything they've sent outside of that radiation belt after the moon landing has died. Like the dogs, the monkeys, all that stuff has died. I believe that we can only get into low Earth orbit, which is perfectly reasonable since it's a round Earth and it's not flat.
So you believe you can't leave the orbit, but the satellites is just floating up there?
Yeah, because they're in low Earth orbit or lower.
Okay, so if gravity is pulling everything down, right? Like, what's keeping it up there if it can't escape the gravity?
They use speed to keep it in orbit at a certain altitude, little thrusters, things like that. And that's what it is. I mean, gravity is pulling it down.
Have you ever
Speed
seen
is
those
keeping it out.
satellites? They have no thrusters.
Yeah, they do.
They don't have that. That's movies.
But yeah, man, like the moon landing, 100% fake.
What about all the fake NASA videos with them in low orbit space, where they're catching a guy with the wire and doing all that stuff, or they
Fake.
spray the hair?
Fake.
I don't think there ever was space. Even if that was, let's say it's real, right? They're in lower orbit. Why not show lower orbit with these guys in space? Why need the cables? Why need the,
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's why, like, I think this is like all of this is fake. The moon landing was fake. I think we can go to low Earth orbit. I mean, we put satellites up there all the time. I can see that.
I think they're just balloons.
Well, balloons or satellites, they're all up there, right?
Yeah, but they're floating up there. Like some of them are like, I guess, you ever heard about that guy who went to go see what the Earth was about? I need to see. This is why I need to come with some notes next time. I'm going to tell you, like, it was a guy way back then, before NASA was ever invented. They put him inside a hot air balloon, and he rose up. He was the only one inside this chamber, and he floated up. And when he came back, he said, the Earth is flat. Like, he saw everything. And then they made that commercial where the guy went through the clouds and did that. That was real, but they remade it or whatever.
The Red Bull commercial?
I don't think was it Red Bull?
The guy that jumped from it?
No, he didn't jump from it.
The jump from space?
I don't even think he jumped from damn space.
This one? No, I mean, he didn't. This was even well below low Earth orbit,
No, look. Let me see if I can find it.
This is that, like, some weird. I mean, you can see it right there. Maybe they got some fisheye. Maybe they got a fisheye lens or something. What do you think?
No, I think it's all flat. The firmament is real.
That's at 127,000 feet. Do you think they got one of those fisheye lenses or whatever they're called, fish lens or something?
It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
To make it look round?
Yep. Like,
Right
why you
there.
don't see any stars?
Well, I mean, it's daytime.
Really?
I don't know, man. I can't do the flat earth thing.
I believe it's in the Bible. I think all the governments are in on it. It's a way to steal money. It's a way to control the people. It's a confusion tactic so that a lot of people think of like evolution and things. Like, just imagine that we're not here randomly, right? Like, they're telling you that you came from monkeys and Big Bang Theory, like that. That's just a random causality of things happening. It's not saying that God isn't real. It's not saying that it is. It's just saying that it's a possibility that he isn't real and we're all here randomly. But then, you have a firmament thing that's tangible, something you can touch. You go to the edge of the world, which you can't, right? Because of the ice wall, because those places are blocked off. Let's say we had like a pilgrimage to go touch this wall. You would know for a fact God is real and we are here with a purpose.
So how do you explain like the equator where it's never cold?
What you mean?
You can go around the world at the equator and never hit an ice wall.
So can you pull up a flat earth model map? It doesn't matter. You can go to image. We can just find one from there.
All right.
So the ice wall is all this on the edge, right? And so if you were to go south, you would get stopped. The government doesn't allow you to go to these places. You know that, right? On the edge. There's nobody living there or nothing like that. Like, we're all in the middle. So you can go to Alaska. Like we all go to Alaska. That's up north. But you can't go south. You can't go to the firmament.
I got you. So like the equator is what, like right here, right?
Mm.
And you can go all the way around that, like you're saying. I can go this way around. And then anything out here, like below South America, that's Antarctica. So this is cold too?
It's not as cold. You see, that's where, because the sun and the moon are inside with us.
But this is north, like the North Pole.
Yeah, that's the North Pole.
So that's cold.
Yeah. But you know, it has seasons. Like you ever talk to people that's up there?
The North Pole?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody lives in the North Pole.
Don't we have a training camp up there in the North Pole, in Alaska?
But that's not the North Pole.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Where's Alaska at?
Right here. There's the Arctic Circle. It starts down here.
We can't go there.
There has been explorations to the Arctic Circle. There's been so many documentaries about it too. Icebreakers up there. That's the whole Arctic trade route is going through up there. This area right here. That's why Russia and China want to own that Arctic trade route in a sense. Because like that's why we want Greenland, is because it controls this Arctic trade routes. But yeah, we definitely go up there.
I saw something. You know, I'm
South
50,
Pole
50 on
the South Pole,
but they said that's the entrance to the center of the goddamn Earth.
The South Pole is
restricted.
Restricted, really no-go zone. If you actually look at like Google,
type in those 40-foot walls, you can see them. 40-foot ice walls.
Yeah. They even if you look on Google Earth, it gets like super weird. I need to get my internet upgraded. Do that wiring. Oh, this is us looking at Egypt earlier. Oh. Too fast. Down here, right?
They just glued it together. That's all they did. They just glued it together.
We do have like an Arctic base over here.
Military base, yeah.
No, civilians go there. It's like a lab and everything. But they pretty much broke it up. Why is that moving?
You never heard about the lab, what they do there? They test the firmament.
The what?
The firmament. They call it blue ice. It's called blue ice.
Blue ice?
Yeah, they chip away at it. And it's supposed to be so cold that it doesn't melt. Like Operation Fishbowl, when she was who's that, Hillary Clinton, saying we cracked the bowl. Like that's what she was talking about. She was talking about the firmament.
Firmament?
Yes, bro. It's in the Bible. The firmament. If you type in the word firmament, it means something tangible, something you can touch.
Okay, so this is what AI Overview is saying. So the firmament is a concept from ancient cosmology, particularly in biblical books of Genesis. referring to the vast expanse of or vault of the sky that separates the water above from the water below, acting as a stretching of space. All right. The firmament means the heavens and the skies, especially when regards to tangible things, the sphere of the world as we collective people. Yeah, firmament. This blue ice thing, though, is blue ice in the South Pole region of Antarctica. Forms where strong winds known as katabatic winds erode away snow and ice, leaving behind old compressed ice that absorbs red and yellow light but scatters blue light. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. It's
That's
like a prism.
what they're calling it, but it's actually the firmament. They're chipping away at it and they're testing it to find out what its weakness.
Whose weakness?
The firmament. They're trying to crack it, bro. The government is trying to go to heaven. Like the firmament is dividing heaven and earth, right? There's like 7 heavens, right? And so they're trying to crack these layers one by one, or at least go up to the next one. The government is lying to you, bro. Like God is real, and this is part of it.
Firmament blue ice theory.
Look up Operation Fishbowl, bro. And it's crazy because like you could talk about it and do whatever, all the research you want. Like these videos disappear or get flooded with everybody's ideas and opinions and things like that. But you can only put it together. It's not like somebody's writing a book about it.
I did see a picture of this sometime, somewhere. I don't remember where. Okay. What the blue ice or blue ice theory around the firmament. The firmament appears in Genesis creation narrative describing a dome-like barrier separating waters above and the waters below. The blue ice theory offers a interpretation that the firmament was a solid structure, perhaps composed of ice and or vapor canopy, that encased the earth, collapsing and changing an event like Noah's flood. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. Flat Earth ice wall connection is modern flat Earth narratives often blend the firmament concept with the idea of an ice wall around Antarctica. The ice wall is depicted as a vertical barrier encircling the flat Earth, sometimes said to uphold the firmament of too restricted access beyond it. That's from ChatGPT.
Right.
Man, let me read about Fishbowl. All right. So Operation Fishbowl was a series of 5 high-altitude nuclear tests conducted by the United States in the summer of 1962 as part of the large Operation Dominic nuclear test series. These tests, also known as Johnson Atoll test, includes a famous starfish prime shot and were designed to study the effects of nuclear detonation in the Earth's magnetosphere. The test created an artificial radiation belt leading to a significant and unexpected damage to nearby satellites and tell stars and provided valuable data on the space environment. The scenes.
Now you ain't gonna question that.
Doing nuclear test?
No, on high altitude. It's just blowing up in the sky just for nothing.
Yeah, they probably did a test to see what it will do to our own satellites and our own stuff to do it to the enemy. You don't think so?
And testing the firmament, bro. Crack it. Like, okay, go look at that Hillary Clinton video when she says she's talking about Operation Fishbowl. She's like, we cracked it. What is she talking about? Crack what? She's talking about the firmament.
Operation Fishbowl, this one?
I can't tell you. Like I said, they're always flooding with so much new videos and things like that.
Yeah, that one's going to be hard to track down. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't see the flat earth thing. I don't see it at all. I see... I think even looking at the map,
it's hard to break something when it's taught to you at a young age, right? Because you can't explain how planes and birds fly, right? Because if you think about the definition of gravity alone, everything is stuck to Earth. It can't take off, right? But if a bird has less bone mass and can fly, that's density. Like you could do a density test in a laboratory.
Yeah, but the bird has uplift. It's creating uplift. Just same way we use jets. Like we create uplift and we're moving.
Gravity's definition, that's impossible.
How?
How are you explaining? So you telling me a bird is stronger than gravity?
Yeah, in this instance, yeah, because it has lighter bone mass, like you said, it has wings that gives it lift.
That's density.
That is density.
That's not
less dense bones have less gravity pulled on them.
right. So you can prove density laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
You can't prove gravity laboratory.
How?
Show me a science experiment that proves gravity.
Dropping an apple out of a tree.
That's still density.
How?
If you spin a ball, right? Why doesn't everything pull towards it? You're just going to say the Earth's gravity is stronger than that ball. Perfectly fine. That's cool. But it doesn't prove gravity. You have no real science experiment other than dropping something and it hitting the ground.
What about the Earth being so dense that it pulls stuff? That's density.
Listen, you can prove it in a laboratory with millions of dollars in the world. Why can't you prove gravity?
I don't know. I mean, they prove gravity when it falls off of a tree. Literally, that's how gravity was proven.
But think about that logic. That's the only thing you have to go off of. Like, there's a video. I watched a documentary of Nikola Tesla talking about this when I think it was Einstein who said this whole idea about gravity, and Nikola Tesla goes, "That's great, but you can't prove that. You know, everything's density. It's all density." And they were trying to prove this whole theory before airplanes and spaceships were ever invented. Like, if you look up like when airplanes and all this other stuff was invented.
So after they made planes, then they proved flight can happen by lift.
Still density.
Yeah, I mean, everything has density. I get it. Yeah, but like,
no, but the definition of, okay, listen, think about it like this. If the definition of gravity is that it is so powerful, gravitational pull is so powerful, nothing should be able to lift off Earth whatsoever.
Why? If you have the opposite force pulling at a like stronger rate than gravity to lift it and push it out of here like a rocket, then you would defeat gravity.
You're stronger than gravity. Like, think about
I'm not. But I'm telling you,
you can jump. That would be impossible if you think about how the Earth.
But I can't jump high enough to continuously float away.
Because that's density.
No, because gravity pulls me back down. That's why some people can jump higher too, because they have stronger muscles and so on. Maybe their height.
People can train those things, but you'll never be able to break these barriers. So, like, okay, so
you're right, because
when you look at density, right? You have your dividing of layers, right? Certain things can never leave those layers, but certain things can go up and down with certain influences to them. You see what I'm saying?
Like gravity.
Why would gravity be a factor? It's
that's only, the influence on it.
No, it's only density. Only density.
There's no way it's only density. There's never a only.
Okay, let's look at the definition of gravity.
So this is what I brought up from ChatGPT. The density and buoyancy is what you guys believe in, right? So objects are denser than the medium sink. Objects less dense than medium rise, right?
Sure.
That's buoyancy.
Right. Everything has influence within density. Within gravity, there is no influence by definition.
Okay, yeah. There's no worry about gravity. But so you're saying that the ground is at a different density than
the air.
Water, right? Those are different density levels. Even air, different density levels, right?
Okay, yeah.
So why are those things staying where they are if they're at different levels?
But oxygen has its own density.
Or we can add that. So why is it?
Water is translucent. It's going through a cycle. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So it's clear that hot and cold air and all these things move in between, up and down. It's a cycle, right? We can do the same thing. But again, when you use gravity as that factor, in gravity, nothing can do that.
Okay. So back to water and rock. Why Do you find water on top of rock, water under rock, air under rock? If it's all only due to density, wouldn't density separate all those things out?
I think water is like the only thing that's like a filler. You put it in a cup, it fills. You put it in a jar, it fills. You put it in whatever, it just takes the shape of what it is. So if you think of like the flat earth model of everything being in a dome, or even when you look at the Bible and it says we're sitting 4 pillars. You ever seen
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the photo.
I wonder why is it designed like that? And then when you ask about like the oldest models of like what heaven is 7 heavens, right? Why would it be going downward? Like, is there something outward? Like we don't have an explanation outside of the flat earth model. Just like
that's why like it ends right there.
Yeah, it just ends there. No, it doesn't end right there at this flat earth model. What I think is a simulation. They have rules. And I think water is one of those things that has it's just fluid. It's everywhere. It's inside the dome, it's outside the dome. It moves through everything. It's inside of you, it's inside of me, it's outside of us. You know, it's everywhere. That's why I think it's different.
That still doesn't explain. Gravity's there. I mean, just because you can't see something like God doesn't mean it's not there, right?
Yeah, I definitely do wonder about that because it just stops there. Like I said, it stops with the 7 heavens, but it doesn't show anything outside of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it's round. I've done shots from like South America into America with HF shots, and they bounce off of the. I mean, they could do it flat too, I guess, you know. But man,
but if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, I
mean, it's all relative, though. You know, you're a tiny ant in this giant Earth. You're not gonna feel the spin.
But wouldn't you're not gonna feel it at all. Like you send a spaceship up in space or whatever, even low orbit, you're not gonna see that thing spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah,
you're not
you
gonna
do.
see an airplane spinning at you've never seen no video of anything spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, you watch them. You can watch the satellites go by. There's some fast ones. There's some slow ones. They're all different speeds.
Okay, when you looked at that, what video was that? That Red Bull video. He shouldn't be able to come straight down like that.
He wasn't. He was coming at an angle across the sky
At 1,000 miles an hour. Think about that.
No, he did. He had a suit and he was flying at like Mach 1. You know?
If you believe he was moving that fast without losing consciousness, that's crazy.
Pilots do it all the time. They go to like Mach 5, Mach 3, Mach 2.
A lot of them lose consciousness.
Yeah, but they train themselves not to. Have you ever seen them do that? Yeah, man. This guy, he did it and he was like, he trained himself. There's breathing techniques where you're like, you ever tighten it? Man, have you ever seen those videos?
But I'm saying at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, man. People do it at Mach 2, Mach 3, Mach 4.
There's no vehicle that goes 1,000. The fastest thing you can probably name is like a rocket. And that's probably doing like 500, maybe like 400 miles an hour.
Oh, no. No way, man. F-35 top speed. And that's not even like anything crazy. 1.6, 1,200 miles per hour. Let's go to a Blackbird or a U-2 plane. Blackbird Mach 3, 2,193 miles
So
per hour.
what speed does a person lose consciousness? And if a human person is
They're flying those.
So you're telling me that this man he's not flying, he's falling at over 1,000 miles per hour. The Earth is moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
And relative to what?
What do you mean? That's what they're saying. The Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles per hour.
Oh, it spins. Yeah, man. Like, you train yourself to do this, you'll fly. Check this out, man. You ever seen? Oh, yeah. This is a good one, dude.
Face peel back.
Pull back. And then on top, breathe. Drop the shoulders, keep the chest relaxed. Breathe. Press out with the abs, clench the glutes. Breathe. Make sure you're getting enough air back in. Breathe. Drop those shoulders. Squeeze the abs and glutes. Breathe. Max intensity out of that lower body. Breathe. You're almost there. And terminate, terminate, terminate. Hold the strain. Hold the strain. Relax.
How fast is that?
Would that end up at like 7 Gs, 7.5 Gs? Yeah. There you
What's 7 Gs equivalent to in miles per hour?
I don't know. Oh, I didn't even spell that right. Oh, that's why I hit cap. I guess it's relative, whatever you're driving. I guess it really depends on how fast you get to that. How fast did he get there? All right.
Legs tight. Breath. Pull back. Hold in. You're on top. Breathe.
All right. 5 seconds. It was probably a little less than that, but let's see. Yeah, dude. 821 miles per hour in 5 seconds. Phew. That's fast.
And you're telling me a person can handle that outside of a vehicle?
Well, he didn't go that fast.
I was talking, no, not him. I'm talking about the guy that.
Yeah, he didn't go 7
failed.
Gs.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he only went like Mach 1. All right, you know what? Let's ask ChatGPT that.
Because my thing is, it's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, and then it's spinning at what, 100,000 something miles per hour in space.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from, but let's see how fast. That's the Earth is spinning at that speed in space relative to everything else in space. That's
While
why we don't.
spinning through the galaxy and doing all this other stuff.
We're all just spinning around in circles.
No, but that is a good question. Like, why does the firmament, like, after?
Okay, so it took him.
Firmament, why does it stop like that?
So it took him 40 seconds to get up to 843 miles per hour. So that guy doing the same thing took him 5 seconds to get up to that speed. That's crazy, right? So he did it over 40 seconds. So it was over a while.
And what's the fastest the human body can take
Well, obviously that.
outside of the vehicle? It can't go
At least
past
that.
800?
he went the fastest. There you go.
At 800 miles an hour, he went the fastest.
Yeah. Terminal velocity is 120 miles an hour. A high jumper, he did 822 miles per hour, but he jumped a little bit higher. Oh, they used some kind of chute, a drag chute or something.
To slow him down.
Yeah, probably.
That's what it says.
I don't know. They said right here that at 822 they used that chute. For this is the second highest jumper, but he jumped from a higher altitude, but he was going slower.
So there's no way he was screaming across the air and would have went straight down.
No, he wasn't. You seen him going across. See him coming across it.
That looks straight down to me.
Now, if you watch the next couple,
The guy would jump from space.
I wanted to be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier.
Go back real quick. His view of
Outside
Earth
of an
looking
aircraft
down.
breaking the sound barrier.
Right there. So the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles per hour. Doesn't matter where you're at, right? Let's say he's in lower orbit, just like you said. Why don't you see none of that moving?
This is nowhere near low Earth orbit.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that because, like, when you're in a car, right? Yeah, I feel like the force is affecting you, right? Just like you said. But you're saying it's all shielded by this magical radiation belt.
No, not that our atmosphere shields us from a lot of harmful rays coming from space, even radiation. I mean, that's mostly what's coming from space is radiation. I mean, in a sense, with the flat Earth theory with your guys' dome, you guys think the same thing, right?
Nah, the sun is inside with us. It's inside with us.
Well, I've never heard that one.
You can see it on that map that you had pulled up, the first one.
This.
Yes, that sun and moon is inside with us. That's why you can always see the moon day or night.
You can't always see the moon day or
You
night.
can always see the moon day.
You can't.
You've never seen the moon in the day?
I have, but it's not always.
You said, but it's not. What? How you know?
There's
you
also-
wasn't looking for it.
There's also nights without a moon
Mhm.
and the sun.
And the sky is just lighting up,
No, it's dark.
pitch black.
Yeah, that's like Iran got hit on a moonless night over Iran by B-2 bombers. Completely moonless night. There's days without moons. There's days without the sun too, you know? Right in the center. Alaska has days without the sun. Most of the Arctic Circle, I think, has many days, maybe even almost a month without the sun.
Right.
I don't know if the moon shines during that time. That probably does.
Well, they have it. Somebody said something about a motto where I guess the sun and moon does this while it's rotating inside the dome. Like it expands and gets closer.
Like this. Seeing this guy's background.
Yeah. So it's saying that it rotates in such a way where it's creating like a toroidal field, like a magnetic force almost.
Like, so looking at this, flat Earth, this is the sun, right?
Mm.
Then you should be able to see it all the way across because it's completely flat. And look how high that light is.
I think it's so big you can't.
But then it wouldn't be flat.
Like you can chase it. You can definitely chase it if you can stay up there long enough. And some people have videos like where like they're in a plane and they can see the sun going down below the clouds. Like they're like, look how close that is. Like, is that my phone tripping? You know, and they're using their phone on a plane.
Yeah.
But we can go back to the video with a boy jumping out. I just feel like at 1,000 miles an hour rotating, especially being that high, you should see some kind of effect. But then you said he was screaming across the sky, like literally across. That can't be the case.
I almost weigh twice the weight that I normally have, and it's very difficult to do a perfect exit. Do not over-rotate. Because if I start over-rotating, there's no air that you can use to slow down.
Okay, John, I'm ready. Okay, here we go, Felix. I'm going over. Away.
First 25 seconds, it looked like everything's under control. And after 34 seconds, I hit Mach 1 and I broke the speed of sound.
Was that him breaking them?
That was our goal. I wanted to be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier. Because of the fact that a lot of those scientists said prior to the jump, you're going to spin like crazy, and the other half said, we don't think anything is going to happen. I was mentally prepared to spin, but I was hoping that I'm not going to spin. Now, if you watch the next couple of seconds, you see at that moment, it slowly starts to spin. It's getting faster. The problem is there's no protocol. There's nobody in the world telling you, listen, Felix, if this happens, you have to do this while the whole world is watching. Then I was trying to move my arms around a little bit, just maybe it does something. And then it stopped for a second, but now it starts getting the opposite direction, you know, and then it really ramps up. At that moment, it's not about breaking records anymore. At that moment, it's all about survival.
Speed 600 miles per hour.
There's only one way for the blood to leave your skull, and that's through all the eyeballs. If that happens, you're gonna die.
Speed 700.
I had a Chi-Whiz attached to my hand. The Chi-Whiz is a device that it fires a drogue chute that pulls you out of that flat spin. That's why I put my hands in to trick that Chi-Whiz. It's less Chi, and now the Chi-Whiz senses, oh, less Chi, that means he's getting it under control. I turned around and I was stable as well.
Showing Felix.
So when you look at my suit, you know, the more you fall, the more depressurized the suit gets. And here you can already see the suit flapping. Look at the sky, blue now. Yeah, so we went black sky back to blue sky. If you look at the right corner, Luke was dropping some flares and it gave me the perfect direction for the wind. Now this is a very important moment. Very first time after hours and hours inside that spacesuit that I'm breathing regular air. So now I'm really happy because even the landing worked just perfect.
So he's saying that's a spacesuit. You think that's a spacesuit? You think he was in space?
No, it's just his suit. He can call it whatever he wants. And he didn't go to space. He went to 127,000 feet. You know? I don't even think that's even close to space. Look, 62 miles up is space. So how high was he? ChatGPT has it here. So he was at 124. He was 24 miles up. And so 24 miles based on this is way in between here somewhere.
Right.
Stratosphere. He didn't give it even out of the stratosphere, you know? And then low Earth orbit is up here, you know? This low Earth orbit.
You ever seen what a star really
Yeah.
like through a telescope?
Our sun.
No, I'm talking about like other planets,
Well, planets aren't a star.
like Pluto, things like that. Like you ever seen like real images like for yourself?
I guess it really depends. I have had at telescopes. I've looked at like Mars and things like that out on telescopes, and then whatever satellite imagery and stuff. But like, is it truly mine? No.
Right. It's a guy on like TikTok and a few other things. He has his homemade telescope or his home bought telescope. He zooms in and he shows you like this is as close as you can get. Like I have the best scope possible right now. And he shows you it's just flickering light. It shows you that all of them are flickering light. You know, they're not these solid planets. And then all those images that you see of like Jupiter and Mars and all those things, those are CGI edited images. But when he shows you, those are flickering lights. That's why they twinkle like that. And a lot of people are thinking those are sound, signal, vibration, actual like lights flickering, you know, outside of the firmament. That's why they look like water shimmering lights. That's what they look like.
I don't know. That's hard for me.
Yeah, like I said, I'll do some research. I'll get these videos for you. I'm gonna save them, and
Yeah, man. Send me some links so we could do this again.
put them in an email or something, and then I'll just pull it up.
But for me, like planets, there's definitely other things out there besides us. Whether it's like another like flat Earth next to us, or at another angle, if that's what you're going with, or something just outside that firmament.
I'm not saying it's not, because like I said, in this model, like you said, it's all limited. All we know, even from the Bible and the old images, is that it's limited within the dome. And then if you go to older texts, like I said, ChatGPT built a model for me where there are 7 heavens, and it said this is a simulation, so you can go up into each level, and you have to pass this test to go to the next test. And so let's say all this is a distraction to never let you go to the next test.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking like you had AI build you something.
No, I only implemented my ideas. I said, hey, use all old texts, use reality as far as like density, don't use gravity. I had to, you know, give her the idea, and then she created it for me. And then that's where I said, hey, where did you get this from?
But you took things out of it like gravity.
Okay, you can use gravity. You can build your own image.
Yeah, I know, but
I said use logic, like things that you can test
I know
in a laboratory.
you're telling it to use logic that you can test within a laboratory, but don't use these things.
Okay, so even if I did do that, right? Old texts don't, in any text, they're not saying anything about a ball floating in space. Like that's just a norm. Like it's going to tell you like a normal fixed thing that everybody like is programmed to tell you. Like you have to set boundaries and reality restrictions to it for it to even give you a legit answer.
But then you're setting the parameters.
You have to.
If you have to set parameters,
If I said only use old text, right? Old text. That's saying everything I know from this time on is a lie. I don't want to use the lie. I want to use what older generations before me has taught their generations.
yeah, but how far are you going back?
Old text is old text.
I mean, are you going like Old text can mean a lot.
What you mean? Even the Bible still even
The Bible's written after Jesus, 300 years after Jesus.
I said all old text.
I don't know. That's still setting parameters, though. You're telling it what to do.
Well, I was set parameters because inside and outside of a vehicle is different because you have air friction and all these other things and all these other factors, right? So inside the vehicle, it just depending on the question, I would limit that. If I'm saying outside of the vehicle, how much can a person take? Because that air friction is actually really damaging to the body. You got a guy who's saying he's falling at 100, 800 miles an hour, and then he had to pull a drag chute because he couldn't hit 1,000. But I don't know. I guess we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour regularly.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't see how you can ask a robot to take out and set your parameters and take out gravity. I can understand if you only want to go one direction,
Okay. Even if I was, and I said just use old text, right? Old text. Let's ask it right now, just to see. But I think it wouldn't give you anything else because it's not saying we're floating in space.
All right, so let's do that. Prove flat Earth or round Earth.
Sometimes I hate when it just doesn't give you over information.
I mean, it's trying to prove its point. I mean, all right. So just given this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For flat Earth, 3. Conclusion. We can read through them all if you want. So round Earth evidence, ships disappear over the horizon, different constellations in different hemispheres, airplane flight path, lunar eclipses, satellite communication and GPS, photographs from space. The horizon looks flat. Things fall because of density, not gravity. Antarctic has ice wall. The conclusion. The evidence is overwhelming. Shows Earth is a sphere. Navigation, astronomy, physics, satellite technology, and direct observation all confirm it. Flat Earth explanations usually stop short of everyday observations, but can't explain large scale phenomena like orbits, eclipse, and hemisphere differences.
But we did. Talked about it.
You didn't explain any of those. Like when I said the orbit, like the sun, it being flat, it should be completely all the way across the entire Earth would be showing it.
It's smaller than what you think. That's what I said. Remember, I told you it's doing this. It's expanding and shrinking inside of the firmament. It's doing it. What that image you had pulled up. It's doing this yin and yang thing. Like you see it, this image right here, but it's expanding and coming in and out.
Okay, so
It's
then
touching everything except that ice wall. It'll never melt that ice wall.
okay, well, I mean, it's touching it right here.
No, that clearly this is
And
like
right here.
somebody's ideal image. But I mean, it's not like science is really trying to tell us the truth.
Or what about this?
This is somebody's model, personal model.
Or this?
Somebody's personal model. See,
But it all says the same thing that you're saying. It's doing the yin yang thing, right? It's like weaves in and out. Even this, like it
but it's
literally
not-
rides.
It's not riding the edge. It's never touching the edge. It's never going that far. You see what I'm saying? Like
So you're saying it's like this?
it's probably the sun is probably smaller than that. It's probably not going that.
Okay, and then what about moonless nights and all of that other stuff? Like
If you're saying there's moonless lights, like this is the first time I'm ever hearing about that. But honestly, like I said, if it's expanding and shrinking, right, you're gonna have that. I never thought about it, but you're gonna have it in certain areas. But somewhere along, probably like the middle, maybe you'll probably
Okay.
never have it.
so if there's no gravity and density is completely explaining it, how do things fall down and not up?
What do you mean? In density, everything hits a barrier, right? You ever seen like
Yeah, but why am I not falling up if there's no gravity?
No.
And why am I
That's not
falling
how
down?
density works. When you test density in the laboratory, right? Like you do the water, the oil.
How do you
fluid.
test density?
What do you mean? I'm explaining it. Like it's a science project, right? You have your sand, you have your rocks, you have water, you have oil, you have other oils or whatever you want to put in there, right? And then you drop a piece of wood, a piece of metal, a piece of brass, whatever. You want to test these subjects, right? They'll fall on the layer that they stop at because some are less dense than others. But you can influence others to go to that dense level by pushing it. Sometimes they'll fall down. Sometimes they'll fall down and come back up.
That's liquid though.
That is liquid. But that's the
But how do you
closest
do
thing.
it in a solid? Like this is, my phone is dense, right? What's holding my phone to this table?
Do the density project, right? Like I said, the dirt falls down, right? Dirt, some minerals or whatever float up. A rock fall down. It's not going through the jar. It's not going through the.
But that's buoyancy. That's not density. That's just how much can something float, how much oxygen, or, you know.
So that's proof of buoyancy and density.
Yeah, like, so what is, like, my phone is dense.
Mm.
What's holding it to this table? Why isn't it just floating up? If there's no gravity, gravity doesn't exist, right? Why isn't this just floating? Or
But
why?
I never denied density if you're saying why isn't it not going up? Because clearly those tests prove buoyancy and density.
Buoyancy is in fluid though, and in air, right?
Mhm.
Like helium floats up when you put it in a balloon, right? So that floats up through the air because it's lighter than oxygen, right? And then those oils have different like viscosity and stuff like that, which separate, like water, right? Oil will float on water, or gas will float on water, and so on. And
I
they'll
see
make
what you're
this.
saying.
But when it comes to like my phone or this chair, like what sticks me to the chair?
So I think, or how I feel about this is that the simulation is more than just water, right? It's a complex simulation. Like I'm giving you this water analogy, and I'm thinking of it as this is a law for everything, but it's not. It is for water, like you're saying. But this is a complex simulation where all things are included: water, gas, and solids. So it's a complex system where all this stuff is happening all at once. Like that's the closest thing I can tell you. Like it's all happening in this fluid because that's the closest thing we can see, because we can't see all these different gases that are going around. You see what I'm saying? With the naked eye, we can test for them as far as like helium, air, and things like that, and how they move, hot and cold, and things like that. But this is a complex system inside of a simulation where all this stuff is happening at once.
But besides like a simulation thing, because now we're going from flat earth to simulation, like,
No, I think it's all the same thing.
so then there's no gravity in the simulation also?
You know, when you have brought up that why does it stop at the flat earth? I mean, at the edge, at the dome, right? No text. We have nothing outside of that. Nothing commonly known.
So there's nothing there.
Well, we know there's water.
You just said there's nothing there.
No. So just like you read that the firmament divided the waters from the waters, there's water outside, right? But I told you there were 7 heavens, which I guess the Gnostics believe that. And this is a simulation, and you gradually go to different.
But I don't know how you can believe in God, but not believe in gravity. You can't see either one of them. I'm not a very religious person. I have read a lot. I've like not as much as some, but you know, I'm just not that religious of a person.
I won't force you to be something you're not. So you believe in evolution? You believe we came from monkeys and things like that? Like everything is a random causality to the Big Bang Theory? We're just complex versions of fungus?
It's 100% evolution. Like you can just see it through all of these catastrophes and everything that drove us to who we are now today as Homo sapiens. Even if you could look back in biblical texts, and even prior to that in ancient texts, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, and even going back to like Göbekli Tepe or Carrion Tepe, there's always been a destructive side of religion, like or not religion, of just society.
Society's just getting wiped out, like the Great Flood and things like that.
Yeah, and
The Mud Flood.
so I think like we have a way to pass on these origin stories, like the Great Flood. I think somewhere around 12,000 years ago, the Younger Dryas, there was an impact. It hit the Great Ice Wall. And the ice wall, I mean by the northern glaciers that was all over North America, the northern part of North America, Canada, Michigan, all that, even all the way up into Alaska. And when the Younger Dryas hit with the big impact, I think it hit the northern ice sheet, melted all that, made a huge flood that hit all the way across a meteor or a celestial object, maybe a comet or something like that, hitting and North America, and killed all the megafauna in North America, like the woolly mammoth and the woolly rhino, cave bears, things like that. They were saber-tooth tiger, things like that were killed. And then it went all the way into northern, like Europe and places like that, even into the Levant area, where like the cradle of humanity was said to come out of. Right after that, populations got really small. It was like cold times. And then it started warming into what we call the Holocene now. That was the Pleistocene. And now we're in the Holocene. And we slowly warmed up over the last 12,000 years, roughly about, I think it's about 2 degrees every 1,000 years is what we warmed up to what we are today. And we're actually almost to the same temperature we were during the Roman time, when the Roman expansion exploded, because warm makes populations grow, makes food grow, stuff like that, right? Because we can grow more in other places that we didn't before. But so when this hit, like Göbekli Tepe and stuff like that was all covered up. And in that place 10,000 years ago, there was a breakup of the Taurus like meteor or something broke up, and it made this belt. And every year, twice a year, we pass through this meteor shower in May, June, and July. And then also I think it's September, October, November. Or maybe it's October, November, December. We pass through this major meteor shower. And so coming up to that meteor shower, we can watch it. We can see it every year. And about 100 years ago in 1909, there was this event called the Tunguska event, which was during this time in July, I think it was in 1909, this meteor came flying in over Russia, blew up, and destroyed even like windows 100 miles away. That's like something blowing up over here and destroying windows in Pensacola. Pretty far distance. And it's called the Tunguska event, right? And in this Tunguska event came out of that giant meteor shower was the Taurus meteor belt. So I think how the world is, or how religion is that, so this is the Tunguska event. They think that this big comet, meteor, something airbursted over this area. This is in Russia, in Siberia, and it blew up, and it pretty much made every single tree fall for a wide berth, pretty wide berth, right? Okay, but so...
You said that happened in what year?
1909. So this happened, and so I think that religion is a way to tell a story that it's going to end in some way, and it's usually from the heavens, right? So my theory is that a lot of these religions passed on these stories to tell us that this is how destruction really comes for humanity.
Can you zoom into the center of that?
Which one? This one?
The Tunguska event?
This one?
It doesn't matter. Any one of them, they have grass or whatever. I just want to see like the center.
Yeah, this is like, I think it's a marshy, swampy area kind of thing.
That's all it is?
Now, yeah. Well, this is so...
Well, the reason why I asked is because, like, you see how these...
The what?
So there's a talk about the Great Flood. You heard about that? The mud flood in Tartaria and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at like something hitting something, an impact, right? It's going to clear out, but a lot of these impacts have like some kind of like deformation where a lot of people are thinking that water came up from the ground. That's what created the flood. So like it wasn't like the heavens opened up and just poured in. It was more so that, the water came from the ground. That's where the mud and everything came. And that's where it covered up everything. And, some technology is lost. That's where we have like lost cities underground and things like that.
Atlantis and everything come from that. I have, so this is going to be a little weird, but so I think I haven't dialed in like when, but I think there was a flood that came all the way across here, and it had to have been during the time somewhere around when all of this was green, when it was like the African humid climate, all of this area was green. And I think there was a great flood in this area, right?
Is there a crater there too?
That's where I need to like deep dive in some more. But I've heard they think that like Randall Carlson is someone I watch a lot, I read about, and so he'll deep dive into things like this, and he thinks that there was a great flood that went across this entire region in a sense, right? So it swept from northern Africa during the African humid period, and it took out all of North Africa. And you can sort of see it here. All right, so if you look at, I think something impacted up in this area, some celestial something impacted up in here, right? Because you have these huge water flows. Do you see this? Like a river looks like it curved down into here. Even coming across the Sahara right here, it looks like it flowed right out over here. See, like this is the edge. This is the edge too. And it just looks like a huge water flow of water flew around over this, right? And then at the same time, people talk about Atlantis, right? Here's this reshot structure that has centric rings. Looks like Atlantis, talked about Atlantis, right? You know, the mountains just north of this is called Atla Mountain Range. Because of the leader of this, the Atla Mountain Range is a little higher, but the leader of this, of Mauritania, which is this country right here, right? The leader at that time, his name was Atla, and they named the mountain range after him. And it was the richest country in the world with the amount of gold they have. They have found there's a bunch of mining up in this area for different minerals and gold and things like that. Okay, well, so that's what I think something impacted here. I don't know when. I have to dial that in a little more. There's also evidence over here off of the coast of, oh yeah. So here's another thing that I think there was some kind of impact out here somewhere, right? Or some kind of tsunami, some kind of flood, because here's another huge water, like overflow. You can see all of this water. You see all these sand dunes. Stop going in. You have all of these sand dunes and stuff like that, right? And you can see this is a wall. This is the elevation changes right here at the end of the sand, and it goes out into here. But see how the water looks like it flowed all the way up into here, into a lot of these places, and then even bigger along these places. You can find that all up and down this coast. So many different places. Look at this one right here.
When you back out, that looks like the water elevation level was much lower. All this land, like when you back out, because I'm sure this is shallow, huh?
So you could see the belt ends right here, or where it gets really deep out there.
Right.
But yeah, this is all coastline.
So what I'm saying is, remember I was talking about the mud flood, arteria, and all that stuff, and the water coming from under. What if it didn't pull the water back? Like this is like leftover water. Yeah,
so that's what I was saying with a lot of this. This is an easy one you can see. You see how like this one right here is I'll turn it this way so you could see it a little better. But so if you're here and you have a huge wave coming at you from this direction going up, right? And then so the wave comes in and it reaches this far inland, right? So you see that it's a little higher over here.
Yeah. Bless you.
It's a little higher over here. This water goes all the way in to here, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts flowing backwards and it's making these fields. So what you see here is this water flows in one way, it creates this river, and then when it flows back, it digs back in. You see how it's digging back down?
Yeah, but that would be mud. That wouldn't be water, because the water would,
Well,
or like thin dirt would do something like this, what's on the edge.
yeah, so that's exactly what I'm saying too. So like the lighter stuff is the sand. That's why the sand gets pushed all the way up here. See that? It's all dark. It's heavy. Starting to get sand, starting to get more sand. And then it stops way up here.
Yeah, that's definitely
where the
mud.
sand is the lightest. And then into here, you can see like this flowed back out pretty heavily. No sand was deposited. And you could see all of this too is in the same way. Like you could see a lot of water have been washed up into here. This is like a riverway. You know, you can see where the river was flowing, it deposited it all over there. But where it's flowing fast, no sand stays, you know? But all along this coast right here, and that's Madagascar, you know, all along that entire coast, you see things like that. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
South Africa, you can find a lot of washing in. You see that going straight in.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there was an impact somewhere out here that created a tsunami that flooded up through this direction.
Yeah, but the water levels would have went back to normal. If
Yeah.
anything, something if going off what you're saying, something coming down, it would have to be a large amount of water that added to the water.
Well, it could also been that maybe the water levels was a lot lower then, because this could have been in the last ice age. Could have been a long time ago. You know, last ice age was 12,000 years ago. Then we had a break of ice age for 1,000 years. And then before that was like a warming period. And then it was like 50,000 years of ice before that, you know, into the older Dryas. During that period, there was like so much ice during that time. And man, I think it probably lasted longer than 50,000 years, but it was a long time. And humans lived through all that, you know, if you look at evolution or if you think of whatever, but to me, like humans lived through all of those ice ages. They survived in some of these, like cradle of humanity, I think started from.
You ever took an evolution class?
Yeah.
I took one before the class even started. The guy said, if you really believe in God, you're not going to pass this class and you might as well leave now. That's what he told me.
That's a horrible teacher. And how do I get this? Oh, there we go. We're back to normal. Okay. So yeah. So this was called like the Levant. This area was right here was the Levant, which was like the birth of humanity in a sense. You know, this is where everybody came from. And then, or this general area, you had Neanderthals in Europe and stuff. You have Denisovans in China and Russia and northern and Europe and things like that, Eurasia. And then Homo sapiens, what we are now, the out of Africa theory, you know, we had Homo sapiens down in Africa, and then they worked their way through there and crossbreed, and then like Homo sapiens ended up killing out or beating out all the other, or Homo Genesis out there, you know, all the other homos out there. And that's who all the other homos. And so that's what we are. That's how we became today, you know, what we are today.
You know that, what is it? I think it's Africa. They have none of the Neanderthal DNA.
You know what's crazy, man, is in Europe, they have some like Denisovan DNA. They have different DNA from other places. I have Neanderthal DNA in me.
Oh, you know.
We've done the tests. But yeah, there's so many different weird things going on. There's even like how they say when the first humans were here, they were saying like Clovis first. Clovis was here about in North America about 10,000 years ago, and they were wiped out shortly after, I think after that, or maybe 12,000 years ago, they were wiped out here. But then they've also found a bunch of other sites that are showing like humans in North America 30,000 years ago in White Sands, New Mexico.
Right.
You know, so I think there's just a lot left out on the table that we need to find and get it and dig into. The flat earth thing definitely like gets me thinking, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like you can't leave out gravity.
I think a lot of things, well, it makes me think about it as far as like the density thing, because outside of the framework of flat earth and the dome and everything else, what is holding us down? Like what's really out there? And so
the way I see it is like, if you have to take away gravity to prove that me wrong, then I don't have to take anything away from you guys to prove that flat earth is wrong. You know, like I can give you all that. I can give you density, I give it whatever you want, you know, but you have to take things away from me to prove me wrong. Like that's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, as far as the satellites, like I said, they're saying there's tens of thousands of satellites, right? And they're screaming across the skies, which we know is impossible because we would see them. But they have underwater sea cables that's connecting us to Russia and all these other places. Why are we connected to these places if we're trying to have a non-breach of data or whatever? We're trying to have a protected server. Why are we connected to these places with landlines? Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, like, well, there's all kinds of links connecting different continents, and it's
the whole world.
Yeah, definitely. But they do it because like that is like one of the most secure ways to do it, you know, and it's been there for so long that, because if you think about, we went from radio waves, you know, to now we're on the internet, and the way we can connect internet to each other is from cables. We haven't got to the point, we actually have got to the point where we can connect to the internet via satellite, Starlink and stuff like that, you know, so we have gone to that point. It's just not as wide as like full on like continent to continent.
I was just thinking it would just be more common because we have satellites, and we're saying there's tens of thousands of satellites in space. You're telling me with the encrypted technology that makes it almost impossible to the military degree level. You know about how encrypted things are. You're telling me that we can get breached, but a landline can't?
No, a landline can.
It should be more likely that a landline can.
It is.
So why would we have... let's pull this up.
It is more likely that you get breaches in landline than you do on satellite, just because it's not as used as much. Satellite is. Satellite is not as secure because it is so new, you know. But there's lots of cables. Like the reason why it's easier to secure for us is because we've been using it for, I don't know, probably 100 years.
You would think it would be obsolete by now. I mean, how long have we had satellites?
Probably 40 years.
You think 40?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been that long.
They've been talking about satellites for probably longer than that.
All right. So 1957 was Sputnik. That was the first time we sent anything to space. And it only did a radio beep beep, right? So modern today communication,
about 40. Probably.
65 is when it says that was the early bird. And that gave us telephone and TV links across the Atlantic on ComSat. So we'll say 65, right? 1960. That's 65 years.
And we have 10,000 floating in space right now. 15,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So in 40 years, you know, how long have we had the communication cables? So 1850 was the first attempt, 58 first transmitted transatlantic cables. So since 1850, so 170 years we've had cabling. So maybe in another 100 years, we'll probably be somewhat close to what we are today with cabling, and probably only on satellite. But you got to also think about our technology has grown faster now. So satellite communication is growing at a lot faster, more of a rapid rate than what communication did like that then. It was slower. Now we have the internet. Now we have AI. We're going to see some rapid production of stuff, you know?
Yeah, as far as technology, I was learning that the more advanced we get in technology, the faster everything doubles.
Yeah.
And even in production, you know, that's why a lot of people are going to start losing jobs soon too.
That's why you need to get into AI. You need to get into business,
Self-help, whatever.
AI in
Anything you can do for
business.
yourself. Any real trade you can do for yourself.
You're always going to need like electricians and stuff like that, like plumbers, I think, for a
Yeah, of
while at
course.
least.
Yeah, for a long time.
But for sure, if you can jump in on getting into AI before everybody else and just learning it to, I don't know, everyday life, to run your business, to help you cook, to stream better, to, I don't know, there's a million ways you can integrate it. I took a couple classes when I was working on my MBA. And man, integrating it into the business, helping with accounting, bookkeeping, with marketing, with different ways to actually like project yourself out, how to hashtag, how to social media, like just pull all these things in. If you can drag all those into whatever business you're into and incorporate it, you're going to be light years above somebody that's just doing it from researching on their own and editing on their own, or just like doing it all on their own with researching the book way, the hard way, you know?
I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the business stuff that we talked about and all that stuff. I'm going to try and get it done before the end of the year and see where it takes me. And I can be just like you.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I want to be me. I'm trying to find me. All right. Well, hey, so this is the end of the podcast. Make sure you give us a like, share, subscribe. And I appreciate you taking your time with me, Billy.
Oh, thank you.
That was fun, man. We're definitely going to do it again.
Yeah, we're going
next
to do a
time.
part 2. I'm going to be more prepared and I'm going to combat all the things he's talking about. Maybe I don't have to take anything out and get a little more proof. But we'll definitely do a part 2.
Next time I do, I want you to like bring the guns, man. Like have the links, send me the links. Let's do this. Let's have fun.
Right.
It was fun anyways.
Right. Of course.
All right. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Appreciate it.
Come check this.